Omolara me, you are taking rubbish. I have told you, you are a woman. Fumi, as one of the beautiful ladies in the village of Somori, was Tunde's long-time love and a woman who he dearly loved with all his heart. But with all the love Tunde had for Fumi, he couldn't marry her because 1. He was poor, and 2. Fumi said she couldn't start life from nothing with a man, so she rejected him due to his poor state. After Tunde was rejected by Fumi, he tried all he could to convince her that things were going to get better, but Fumi still insisted she couldn't marry him on the basis that he was going to marry her to make her suffer. This rejection from Fumi weighed Tunde down very much, and he desperately wanted to forget about her. So when he met Lara, he doted on her, spent time with her, and always wanted her around him. Lara did not know that Tunde still loved Fumi so much. She thought Tunde's love for her was genuine and also believed that the two of them could build their lives from scratch. This was why when Tunde asked her to marry him, she did not think twice before accepting his proposal. Now, it wasn't like Tunde and Lara's marriage was hidden, and Fumi was not aware about him getting married to Lara. Of course she was aware, and she knew as well that he was still a married man. But because she was so sure of how much Tunde still loved her, even though he was married to Lara, and because she had also seen how prosperous Tunde had become, she decided to snatch him, not minding that she would be hurting Lara's feelings. With Fumi coming around almost every day, and with all that was happening around her, Lara continued to live in the same hut with Tunde. As she went by each day, she really tried to make Fumi's visit not to get to her, but the pain of seeing her husband happy with another woman shattered her in ways that she never knew possible. Coupled with the fact that she was an orphan and she had no one to run to apart from her mother-in-law, it was a lot for her to bear. Maybe I did something wrong. This is a phase that will pass, she kept consoling herself over and over again. Since they live in the same hut with her, Fumi and Tunde saw Lara's pain, but this did not make them cease to cause her more heartbreak, as they continued to show off their happiness and love in front of her, enjoying all the happy moments that Tunde had stopped giving Lara a year after they got married. One cool afternoon, Tunde's mother came by to visit them unannounced and met Lara in the front yard sweeping and Fumi just stepping out of the backyard. "So it is true," she shouted. "Omolara me, you are taking rubbish. I have told you, you are a woman worthy of love and happiness. Don't stay in a humiliating marriage. Now, go inside, pack your bags and let us go. You can stay with me for as long as you want." As Tunde's mother shouted the house down, Lara reluctantly packed her bags. But as she packed, she kept looking at Tunde with pleading eyes, hoping he was going to beg her not to go. But Tunde really seemed unbothered as she packed her bags. He just watched as Lara packed her things and left the hut with his mother. With nowhere to go and no one to turn to, Lara sought solace in Tunde's mother's hut. But as each day passed, she kept thinking and crying on the soft pillows in her room. How did her life take a bad turn because of marriage? How will she face her customers who knew her to be a married woman? How will she walk in the village without the villagers mocking her? As these thoughts ran through her mind, Lara continually buried herself in the corners of her room, day in, day out. And whenever she eventually stepped out for some fresh air, she would hide because of shame so that Tunde's mother would not see her. But what Lara did not know was that Tunde's mother noticed that she was ashamed, which made her really extend her utmost care for her. Every morning, she dropped food for Lara in her room and came back to pick a used plate. She would see Lara on the bed looking really sad and proceed to say comforting words to her. With each passing day, Tunde's mother's comforting words gradually brightened Omolara's day. Despite her sadness, she eagerly awaited to hear these comforting words because whenever she was alone, she would whisper them to herself continuously like someone in a trance as she lay in her bed, tears streaming down her face. On one sunny morning, a few weeks later, Lara stepped out of the room as usual, but this time around, she did not hide from Tunde's mother when she saw her. Instead, she walked up to her and gave her a very big hug, thanking her for all she had done for her. As the days rolled by slowly in the village of Somori, Omolara gradually began to rebuild her life, finding solace in her work and the comforting words of Tunde's mother. Whenever the villagers saw her, they talked, they gossiped. Some even walked up to her to mock her. But despite the whispers and judgmental stares from the villagers, Lara persevered, determined to carve out a new path for herself. As she stepped out the more, she started getting suitors, some within the village, while some were from neighboring villages whenever she went there to make hair. As these men came though, Omolara always wondered, don't these people know that I just left my marriage? Useless people. They only want to sleep with me because they think I am vulnerable, she always said to herself as she walked home. On some days when a man approached her, Lara would get home and sit down with Tunde's mother, sharing tales of her days and her suitors to her. She and Tunde's mother would laugh over them, after which Tunde's mother would encourage her to take her time to look well and choose a man this time who genuinely loved and cherished her. However, Lara wasn't divulging details about her suitors out of genuine interest. Instead, she shared merely for conversation's sake, as she had no romantic interest in any of them, a sentiment she openly shared with Tunde's mother. To her, she had moved past the idea of relationships and marriage altogether. But Tunde's mother, being a wise elderly woman, still understood that Lara's apprehension stemmed from her past marriage, so she consistently offered words of encouragement to her, instilling hope within her and reminding her of the brighter aspects of life. During one of their cozy evening chats, Lara confided in Tunde's mother about the king's nephew from the neighboring village who had taken an interest in her. They had crossed paths during a recent trip to their village and he had expressed his intense desire to marry her. But due to her being overwhelmed by his marriage intentions, Lara revealed that she had opened up about her previous marriage so as to discourage him and push him away. But this man seemed not to be discouraged in his pursuit. To make her know that he was really serious about his intentions, he had made plans to visit their village to formally meet her and her family to cement his intentions. Upon hearing this news, Tunde's mother was overjoyed. After a few days, she kindly arranged a small hut and furnished it in a small way for Lara. She gently told her that it was time for her to move out of her hut and embrace this new chapter in her life. Several weeks later, the king's nephew visited and he loved what he saw. He loved what he saw so much that within a few months, he married Lara and moved her to his village to begin their life together as husband and wife. Adeyemi, the king's nephew, adored everything about Lara, loved her so much and worshipped the ground she walked on. When the villagers witnessed Lara's marriage, everyone envied her, including Tunde, who by now had been abandoned by Fumi when things got a little tough for him. He believed Fumi would stay through thick and thin now that she had seen how prosperous he had become, and also continued where Lara had stopped. Tunde really also did not believe that Lara would meet and get married to another man. He wished he had loved her when he had the chance to, but it was too late, and he deeply regretted his actions of leaving Omolara for Fumi. In her new home, surrounded by love and happiness, Omolara flourished, finding fulfillment in her role as a wife. She discovered she was pregnant a few weeks later and shared the news with Tunde's mother, who promised to come and stay with her when she gave birth. But sadly, Tunde's mother passed away just a few months before Omolara gave birth. So to honor her sweet memory and keep her close to her heart, Lara named her daughter Moromoke, which was Tunde's mother's name when she was alive. Omolara had 2 more children with Adeyemi, and together they journeyed through life, weaving sweet memories along the way. As we bid farewell to Omolara's tale, let us carry with us the beautiful lesson of never forgetting that you are worthy of love and you deserve to be happy. Do not also give up in any situation that you find yourself in, because you do not know, the future may just be brighter. So forget your past errors and mistakes. It doesn't define you. Instead, learn from your errors and use the lessons learned to shaping yourself to become a better person for today and also for your future. Thank you for listening. I appreciate your attentive ears. Stay tuned for more amazing stories coming your way soon. Your ongoing support means everything to us. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel and also give this video a thumbs up, because your likes truly keeps us going. Thank you for being a part of this journey once again.